Hi, I'm Phil. I'm 74 years old and I have essential tremor in my hands, a slight bit, and more so in my head. And in this video I'd like to tell you about my attempts to learn how to control the head tremors. My family on my father's side has tremors in the hands. I haven't noticed anybody with it in their head really, but they have it in their hands. My father's father, his tremors were so bad he had to drink his coffee with a straw. He was a bookkeeper and he had to stop working as a bookkeeper because he couldn't write clear enough. My father was an accountant, a CPA, and he had his own accounting business. About the time his writing got so bad, the PC was coming out and he was able to use a PC to do all his accounting, and he didn't have to write much. He sold his accounting business when he was 94 years old. Let me give you a feel for my tremor. I'm not trying to make it look worse or trying to control it and make it look less. I'm just sort of letting it run free. A few days ago I shot a video, and it was after I took a shower. My tremor is much worse after I take a shower, and my head was shaking so much I was like Woody Woodpecker, and I just thought that is way too much. So I'm trying to give you a moderate example of my shakiness. You can see it'll shake a bit. When I stand up straight, it's worse. When I walk, it tends to shake more when I walk. Now I can sort of hide this. When I'm walking, I can look down or look around this way or that way. If I'm talking to somebody, I can look this way, that way, but it'll become pretty apparent that my head shakes. If I go to an art museum and look at pictures for some reason, looking up a certain way, my head will start shaking pretty quick. So it depends on the situation a little bit and what I've been doing for the last 10-20 minutes also. I control it by trying to relax and then tighten up a little bit to keep the tremor from coming back while I'm relaxing. Let me show you that. Okay, I'm relaxed, and I can talk, I can move my head. I have to be very, very careful when I'm doing this, and I can stand up straighter, and I can walk. I'm not going to try to hold that because I want to concentrate on talking. So that's where I'm at right now in terms of the control. Isn't of any practical value. I have to concentrate on it so much. I look like a robot. So it's really, I can't use it in everyday life at all. But I hope to build on that. So let me tell you a little bit about me. When I was, I haven't had the hand tremors like my father's side of the family has. I've had them a little bit. The last time I tried to address problem with the hand tremor, I was taking some art courses at a community college, and when I tried to do certain tedious work, I had to hold the brush or the pen or the pencil with both hands and maybe press it against my chest in order to keep it steady. And I wasn't doing any caffeine at the time. But what I did was I started telling myself, well, relax, just go slow, tell my hands to relax, and it maybe took me 2 or 3 months. I was doing 4 or 5 hours of artwork a day. Of course, it wasn't all the tedious stuff. But it took me 2 or 3 months, I think, to get my hands so that they weren't shaking as much, and I could do stuff with one hand. And I did art for about 4 years, trying to learn art for about 4 years, and it was never, my shakiness was never a problem, really. As far as my head is concerned, a couple of years ago maybe, I started to notice a little shakiness in my head, and it might be that I had that for 5 or 10 years, I don't know, but I started becoming more aware of it. And I started to do some exercises in the morning for about 5 minutes. I would try to move my head around, relax it, and look for where that shakiness was, and I found it in different certain situations. I could find it, and I tried to move and relax so that I didn't shake. And I made some progress, but I don't think I was having any effect on my daily shakiness when I wasn't trying to do that exercise. Then about 6 months ago, some new shakiness came into my head, and I noticed it pretty quick with these exercises I was doing in the morning. Some new shakiness came in, and this was a bigger shake, and my trying to relax and move my head, just I could not control that at all. And over the months it gradually got worse. Eventually I thought, well, maybe it's a pinched nerve, and I went to a chiropractor, and after a few sessions it was clear to him and me that that wasn't helping me. I went to a neurologist, and he said that's essential tremor in your hands and your head. He told me a bit about essential tremor. Of course, I already knew some about it because I had looked stuff up on the internet and that. He had me go get x-rays of my neck to make sure I didn't have bone spurs that might cause some problem with the nerves, and I didn't. It was all okay. He had me start taking Primidone, and minimal dose. I'd have to cut the smallest pill because I was only taking 25 milligrams. I'd have to take a half a pill twice a day. I took that first pill one evening, and within a few hours my head tremor was way down to 40 or 30% of what it would normally be. The same as if I had a stiff alcoholic drink. A drink would always bring my tremor way down, and it would do that for maybe a couple of hours. So this was like that, and I'll tell you, I was just elated, super happy. And the next morning, before I took the second pill, my tremors were way down still. I took the second pill. Well, during that day and the following days, the side effects started to come into play, and after 3 days, I just decided I'd rather try to live with the tremor than live with the side effects. So I stopped taking the medication. And then I said, okay, I've got to start trying to do these exercises or something to try to control this tremor if it's possible. And I'll just hold on to this. So what I did was I first started, my tremor was less when I would sit down. So I first started, I had a timer and I'd set it for 5 minutes, and I would just sit still with my arms on a table, and I would try to keep that tremor from coming in. I'd close my eyes and just relax, not worry about moving my head at all. And I'd relax and try to get that tremor to keep from occurring. And I could get it, I mean, it took, I was doing this 3-4 times a day. It took a few days, but I got so I could make it stop for a while, but it would come back after, I don't know, 10-15 seconds. But then I noticed that I could try to tense up a little bit, and I started tensing up probably my muscle in the left muscle in the back of my head or neck. And then I could keep it under control, and I got so I could, you know, this might have taken a couple of weeks, I got so I could control it for the full 5 minutes. And I'd have to focus, but I could do it with pretty good regularity. So then I started trying to move my head, because when I'm tightening up that muscle a slight bit, as soon as I try to move, I lose the tightening or something and the tremor comes back. It didn't take too long to get so I could move my head sideways. Up and down was a lot more trouble. And this is an interesting thing. I found that on going up and down, if I thought about the back right-hand side of my brain, or my head, whatever, I may be tensing up back in the right side, I don't know, I could successfully do the up and down motion and not have any trouble. I had to be careful. And then I started getting so I could move my head all around too, not easily, but carefully. And I didn't even have to think about this right-hand side anymore either. I still do when I try to do certain things like a curl down, I have to still think about it, but for the most part I don't. Okay, so then what I did was start to try to stand up, move my arms, stuff like that, control the tremor. And what would happen is as soon as I tried to, then I started trying to walk. As soon as I took a little step, the tremor came back, and I have to calm down. But what I did was I would try to do more and more of that. And I have a regular routine I do in the morning where I have to clean off my eyelids and put medicine on them, and I stretch certain ways, curl my toes, do some deep breathing, a fair amount of stuff, very gentle, slow kind of stuff that I do. And so what I did was I would start trying to control that tremor for all of that stuff. And even I'd set the timer 20 feet away, and I'd have to walk back and forth to get the timer and take it back. And on all of that, I would be controlling that tremor. So it netted out that I was controlling the tremor for about 20-25 minutes in the morning. And I was getting better at it. I didn't have to do the baby steps anymore. And then I have another routine in the evening, not the same, but sort of like it. And I would do the tremor control during that evening too. So it nets out I'm doing 35-40 minutes a day of tremor control. And now I'm starting to think about trying to do it in the daytime. I'm a computer programmer. I work about 20 hours a week out of my house. And so I have time to do these different things. So now I'm getting a lot more practice, and I'm really getting better at it. Smoother, not quite as robotic, but still I'm not there by a long shot. A week ago I was in Barnes & Noble, and I thought, well, I was in line, I'll try my tremor control. Well, with other people around me, I just got up tight, and it was just hard to do. But I tried it. The gal at the cash register said next, and I had to go down. Well, I immediately reverted to my move in certain ways when I walk, and move in certain ways when I was talking to her. And so I didn't succeed. I'm not ready for prime time, but I feel like I'm going to get there. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping that maybe in another 6 weeks I'll be pretty good at this stuff, and I will be ready for prime time. Maybe it'll take 6 months, I don't know, but I'm going to keep on going at this stuff. I'll even go for years, I think. It's sort of interesting, and there's a lot of variation I can try. So that's pretty well tells you where I'm at. And I think in maybe 2 or 3 months I'll make another video and say what kind of progress I've made. I've got to make some progress. And I'd certainly appreciate it if you'd watch that one when I put it out. Until then, thank you very much for watching this one, and I'll see you, or you'll see me,